Going on to you, Sagittarius. So you have the Two of Pentacles, the Temperance, which is Sagittarius. So you did show up in your own reading. The Devil, ooh, Ace of Cups, the Tower, King of Cups. Then you have the Knight of Wands, right? Then the Ace of Swords, the Eight of Swords, right? And then the Nine of Wands. Ooh. So what I'm seeing here for you, Sagittarius, is that the Two of Pentacles, the Temperance, and the Devil really is about how you, Sagittarius, a lot of this is going to sound, this may sound stupid to some people, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of you Sagittarius should be able to understand it. But the Two of Pentacles, the Temperance, and the Devil really does represent how you making the choices that you're making has become a spiritual thing. And what I mean by that is the idea that a lot of you Sagittarius are no more in the idea of morality, right? The Temperance, the Devil, right? 14 and 15, the major arcana, and this has their numbers right at the top, right? Plainly. So it's like good versus evil, right? And the Two of Pentacles, a lot of you Sagittarius have stopped experiencing life from a perspective of what is good, what is evil. And now a lot of you Sagittarius are really learning how to exist on a higher level, a higher think of things, and be able to exist and experience the experiences that you've had from a more spiritual, higher order thinking level of experience. It's no more, again, the way you used to be of you got to get back at this, that, and the third. It's much more of a more well-rounded gray area, not to the extremes, black and white. Yes, there are such things as black and white, but there's also a gray area in exchange or in between those two things as well. What does it have to do with anything? The Ace of Cups, the Tower. You Sagittarius have learned to stop looking at your past mistakes and your past problems emotionally. And you're really starting to look at it from a more of a scientific perspective. Why is it that some people fail and fall, and why is it that certain relationships devolve to the nonsense of what it becomes when it's time for you, Ace of Cups, to actually show them love and you actually offer them that cup? Why does it go from this, which is when you start to actually open up, it starts to become this? Now the Tower, everything starts falling down. Now all of a sudden things can't work. Love can't work anymore. Now all of a sudden the love shop is closed when it comes to you. And the King of Cups now represents, you're really starting to see, right? Looking back at it, you're really starting to be able to observe it, but not look at it from a perspective of being personal, right? And this is where a lot of you Sagittarius, your mind is starting to change, because the Knight of Wands, the Ace of Swords, you're starting to look at it from a perspective of, instead of you Sagittarius be offended at this stuff, it's more so about whenever it is that you see people, whenever you observe this type of mentality, this type of behavior, the way that people move. First and foremost, you're going to be able to decipher when people are caught up in that confusion. And what I mean by that is, for instance, right, and I'm giving y'all an example, right? The idea that people will say that they're in relationships, but then they'll go sleep with somebody else. But then at the same time, they're trying to be, they tell the person that they're having an affair with all their secrets. But then when it comes to the person that they actually married, right, everything to them just seems to be shut down. And it's like, well, it's like, this is confusion, because which way does it go? Why is it that you even have an affair with somebody at all? Why can't you just be in a relationship with somebody, the person that you with, and tell them everything? And the reason why is because it creates confusion is because those people are really not your match in the first place. They're not really your match. You don't really have similar internal values in the first place. So a lot of you Sagittarius are not afraid to do this. The Knight of Wands, do some more traveling, right? And the Ace of Swords, to actually start upholding truth in that, right? To actually admit that to yourselves. Like, you don't get along with somebody and you don't have, see, this is the thing, right? This is what I'm trying to say, right? What creates the spark between the two people that makes it so that it's long lasting is when the two people have the same internal values or very similar internal values. That's what your being in love is about. Because the people that last the longest in love, 50 years, 60 years, depending on if you live that long, right? Those are the people who have similar internal values that happen to get it right and figure out that the two of y'all have similar internal values. So that's why it is that they were able to stay with each other so long in the first place, is because they were mirror versions. I ain't gonna say mirror versions, but they were reflections of the same individual, boom, that ended up making the correct choice in the sense of blending the two together, making the two of them come together. And it's the same thing for you Sagittarius. A lot of you Sagittarius are living more in truth, right? Not your truth, the bottom line truth. What's fair, equal opportunity, right? Fair, right? In the sense of you Sagittarius knowing when you don't have chemistry with the person, when i.e. when the two of you do not have similar internal values, to admit that and to stop acting like because the person is handsome or because the person is very attractive that you're going to be hanging around people that you know internally the two of you do not have similarities. But then the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Wands now represents, but see, it's a problem now, because now it's a situation where it's because you realize that this is ultimately where it lands you. It's not necessarily so much of a problem. It's more so of a past situation where you realize that this is ultimately where it lands you, Sagittarius, when you don't admit that to yourself and look at it really bluntly. What happens is that the two of you end up being like this. You on your knees, head down, hands tied. Well, not hands tied, but your hands behind your back. And this person is grounded too, right? From a grounded disposition. The two of you bring each other down when the two of you don't have the similar internal values and you don't even know how to get along. Because you Sagittarius realized that that was part of the problem. You didn't know how to admit, okay, two of us don't really have the same purpose. We don't really have the same direction in life. So because we don't really have the same direction, if our destinations are not the same, why am I still here for with this person? I gotta not even waste this person's time. I'm gonna go ahead and go on about my business. So let's clarify some of these cards. But see, this is what I'm trying to say, that you Sagittarius are gonna really cut yourselves a lot of time of the nonsense, because you're going to be you're now able from these realizations to decipher very quickly, like, oh, okay, we don't really have the same internal value like that. Okay, it's time for us to bounce. So let's clarify the Ace of Swords, Temperance, Ten of Swords, Three of Cups, right. The Empress, right? Because basically, what's the point of you wasting your time when you know you have this knowledge? What's the point of you wasting your time when you know you have this form of enlightenment? See, Temperance comes up again. Sagittarius, boom, showed up in your own reading again. And then Libra energy basically complements Sagittarius energy very well. But this is the point that I'm trying to make here. The idea that you realize, what's the point of you doing this in the first place? You might as well get on instead of wasting your time hanging out with an individual that you know good and well after some time getting to know them, the two of you don't really have the same internal value. Sparing yourself the time and the headache and even the potential heartbreak of going through some things, right? And just cutting to the chase and actually going on to someone that would potentially be better suited for you.